Swedish Rally is the only true snow rally on the WRC schedule. It's an event that Scandinavian drivers own. The teams only get one shot a year at these unique conditions with high snowbanks and studded tires. The best drivers use the natural barriers as guides, like rails to keep them on course. For others, it spells disaster. The raw talent and competitive depth of this year's field is at an all-time series high. The winner here has always been a Scandinavian. Most recently, Grunholm, Rovanperä, Mäkinen, and Eriksson. But there is no question that veterans McRae, Sainz, and Burns, along with a long list of young guns, can win this year. 3 days and 17 stages are all that stands in the way of this year's victor. The 2003 Swedish Rally starts now. After a clean sweep in Monte Carlo, there's no doubt that Citroën means business. But the newest team in WRC are about to face one of the toughest challenges for man and machine. This is round 2 of the World Rally Championship. This is Rally Sweden. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shahi. Recent heavy snowfalls and temperatures plummeting below zero, you'd be forgiven for staying in by the fire. But try telling that to the Swedes. You see, Rally Sweden is the country's biggest sporting event, and the fans want to be part of the action, part of the fastest, slipperiest, and most thrilling rally of the WRC. Deep in the forests of farmland, the wide flowing stages are covered with thick ice and lined by snowbanks. Most drivers would approach with caution, but not a WRC driver. Here they go at one speed only, flat out.
You need to go flat out, completely flat out, because stages are very fast.
Road conditions are the best I've ever seen here.
The grip is very, very good. So it's a really fast rally.
At each corner of the car, there's literally cutting-edge technology. The tires, dotted with hundreds of tiny metal studs that bite through the frozen surface. In fact, the grip's so good, it means that cars go faster here than anywhere else.
Completely crazy.
Scandinavians reign supreme on their home territory. They're brought up on these icy roads and have developed a driving technique that mixes speed with a huge dose of bravery. As if driving at 130 miles an hour down the icy straights isn't enough to get the heart pounding, they can bounce themselves off the snowbanks to get the fastest line through the corners. Oh, it looks easy, but it needs a lot of skill, and it's very, very risky. With just one round gone, it's Sebastian Loeb who's leading the championship with his Citroën teammates just behind him. This weekend, however, all eyes are on Marcus Grunholm. He's won here twice, and everyone knows he's the man to beat.
We won here last year, so people think I can win again, and I hope I can do it.
Peugeot's formidable lineup is completed by Harry Rovanperä, who won here in 2001, and former world champ Richard Burns. Sebastian Loeb is leading the charge for Citroën, while Colin McRae is gunning for glory on one of his favorite events.
I would be a bit disappointed if we didn't have a podium, but obviously, you know, a win in mind.
Three-time winner Tommy Mäkinen is a veteran of Sweden, while his teammate Petter Solberg has put the disappointment of the Monte Carlo rally behind him.
Monte Carlo, it was a little bit bad luck, but that's how it is. It's a lottery, the whole rally. But I'm trying again here, and I'm gonna push hard.
Porter once again aiming for success with young guns Marco Martin, Francois Duval, and young Finn Mikko Hirvonen. While Hyundai are counting on drivers Armin Schwartz and Freddie Loyce. And former world champ Didier Auriol and Tony Gardemeister are the boys in green for Skoda. With stage 1 set to begin, Sebastian Loeb will be up first. Can he duplicate the same magic that won him the money? Rally Sweden's back in just a minute. With more on round 2 of the 2003 World Championship here in Sweden, here's Penny Mallory and Nikki Grist.
So from the blue skies and the sunshine of the French Riviera in Monte Carlo, we've moved to the wintry wonderland of Sweden in Northern Europe, where temperatures have fallen to -9. It's freezing. And with me is Nikki Grist. Now, Monte Carlo, Nikki, was all about the dominance of Citroën. Is that going to happen here in Sweden?
I've got a feeling they're going to do very well, but I've got to say, I've got a feeling it's maybe going to be very difficult for them. It's all going to be about Peugeot, and I think Grönholm's going to be the man.
Now, there's 2 other Peugeots that are very important here. Harry Rovanperä starts his season here. How will he go?
Well, he's won this event before. He's going to be very quick, and I think he's keen to improve on last year. And then, of course, you've got Richard Burns. I think he's got a good chance, but I think he's desperate just to get back on the pace again.
He would love to become the first non-Scandinavian ever to win this rally. It's only ever been won by Scandinavians, hasn't it?
It has, absolutely. I think it's not just about driving, it's understanding the conditions and choosing the right tyres and spikes.
Now, moving on to the other teams, Ford, how will they fare?
Of course, they've not got the strong force that they had last year, but I think Marco Martin's going to be their best bet, and their other young guns are really just out for a bit of experience.
Bit of training here in Sweden. Now, Subaru, the Subarus, how are they going to go? Petter Solberg and Tommy Mäkinen.
Well, Tommy's not had a good year last year. And Monte Carlo, very lackluster performance. Petter was the far stronger of the 2. I can probably see Petter doing quite well, to be honest. He's hungry.
So you think he'll have an edge over teammate Tommy? Now, the other 2 teams, which are really further down the ranks and order of the World Championship, there's Hyundai and Skoda. How will they get on?
Well, we had Freddie Loix here last year with a broken foot.
Yes.
Drove exceptionally well in the Hyundai. He could go well. He does like it here, and the car is improving all the time. Skoda's very quick on the fast rallies. We saw that last year with Kenneth Eriksson on this event particularly. We've just got to wait and see. But the weather can be so different here.
Well, you say the weather can be unpredictable. It's Sweden, it's snow and ice. Surely that's going to be consistent throughout the rally.
Well, it is the only winter rally that we've got in the championship. But in recent years, the weather's been so unpredictable, we've almost ended up rallying on muddy gravel in places. It's got good temperature now, but you never know. Tomorrow or even Sunday, the temperatures can drop and you can have a massive thaw, and then its tyres can be a big issue.
Well, I know one thing's for sure. We are set for some very exciting rallying, whatever the conditions.
Should be fantastic. Well, the Swedish Rally is made up of 17 stages over 3 days, based around a service park at Hagfors, north of the host city of Karlstad. The first of those stages is Sagan. This is a great stage to start the rally. The road is fairly wide and it is one of the driver's favorites, loaded with some very exceptionally high-speed sections. This is probably one of the widest roads on the event. There's some great corners in the middle of this stage and also an open hairpin just before the finish. With lots of cars on the stage, it tends to cut up the ice and gravel starts to show through. It's a real test, but generally the later runners always get a quicker time on this stage. Up early to catch all the action, the fans braved the cold conditions to crowd the stage. First out under the snow is Sebastian Loeb. This is only his second visit to Sweden, so no one expects him to set any records. Surprisingly, though, he is fast, actually very fast. The split times show that he's locked in a battle for the lead with Richard Burns. The former world champ was recently complaining that he's struggling to get the right feel in his Peugeot. He's arrived in Sweden with the aim of taking his first win for the French team. Burns' biggest rival is his teammate Marcus Grönholm. He might not have had a perfect start, but the driver they call the Iceman loves it here and is certainly one of the favorites to win. He was third fastest. Harry Rovanperä is back for the first time in 2003 and has chosen to kickstart his season on a rally that he loves. He's struggling, though, for grip out there after opting for a shorter spike on his tire than the other Peugeot drivers did. Setting exactly the same time as Rovanperä is Marco Martin, so far the best of the Ford drivers.
6 right, 6 minus left. 50, crest late, 5 plus right.
So far, there's a huge difference in the performance of the two Subarus out here, Nikki. Why is that?
Here's Tommy. His speed is top right, and the red light's the brake pedal. He comes up to, accelerates up to 170, braking now, sliding the car, but keeping the throttle. Look how he's controlling it, keeping on that clean, hard line. The snow has been swept away, picking up the important grip. And if you have a look at this exterior shot, a lovely line around the corner. We compare with Petter, 5th gear, accelerating up to 6,000 RPM, 6th gear, accelerating up to 170. Holding it there, he's braked much later, but he's missed the line. He's on the soft stuff on the outside, and fistfuls of lock there. Well held, Petter. Kept it going, but it's so difficult. The first stage of the rally, you've got to have a nice clean stage. It's very important to keep the confidence up for day one.
All right, Nikki, thanks. Tony Gardemeister had a bad start. Electrical problems with his Octavia, and then he arrived at the stage start with just 1 second to spare. Hyundai have certainly had a difficult start to 2003. A lack of funding means the team hasn't tested for this event, and the frustration is clear. Both Armin Schwartz and Freddie Loix are already outside the top 10. The big story of the stage is the battle for the lead between Loeb and Burns. The young Frenchman crossed the finish line first, but isn't sure if he'd done enough to take the lead.
Maybe.
Let's go on board now with Burns as he chases down his rival. Watch his time on the right.
20 flat right, 20 flat left.
Just 0.6 of a second behind. There indeed is a battle brewing.
Should finish the stage.
One stage down and 16 to go. It's Loeb who goes into an early lead, but with Burns on his tail, the Frenchman can't feel safe as he heads into stage 2. And just look at Petter, all the way down in 13th. Richard Burns is still winless at Peugeot, but he has the fire in his eyes. Coming up, the former world champ talks us through stage 2. Stage 2 is one of Richard Burns' favorite stages, and this is a look at how he drove it last year. The man himself explains why he loves it here.
We're at the end here of a typical stage in Sweden. It's actually stage 2. Rammen, one of my favourite stages in the rally, and you get a good idea here of what a classic Swedish stage is like. Very, very fast, very flowing. Lots of, here you can see sort of 4th gear, 5th gear, with the car sliding the whole time over the crests, hopefully staying in between the snowbanks. There's also quite a few places you come over crest quickly into some slower corners where you need to change direction with the car very fast as well, and that's not easy to do with this very narrow studded tyres that we use. But overall, I think that bit of road there just displays how good fun this rally can be and how classic it is when you get it right.
Sebastian Loeb's position of running first wasn't helping much on stage 2. He was struggling so badly that he not only lost his lead, but he dropped out of the top half of the leaderboard. Well, he's talking about how essential pace notes are for drivers. The information machine gunned out by the co-driver tells them everything they need to know to go flat out. That, however, is what happens when a pace note's wrong. During the spin, snow got into McRae's air intake, the engine sputters, a very scary moment for the Scot, who won't be happy to lose 40 seconds. Now have another look at McRae as he gets crossed up. Once the snow gets kicked up, you can't see very much, so all you can do is hang on. Meanwhile, it was all adding up nicely for Richard Burns. Loeb off the pace, old rival McRae safely behind. He must have had his eyes on getting the lead.
Minus in to fast lane in long, 200.
His biggest threat was Marcus Grunholm, and he hurtled through the stage chasing down Burns. On the right, you can see Burns' time and Marcus's target.
Vasen eri jouheen. 8. Nyppy oikein eri miinus. Ja nyppy vasen täys. Ja nyppy vasen täys. 100.
Nearly 9 seconds faster. Grunholm is flying.
Stage is clear for Markus. 25 lööviä.
Next up, another one of the flying Finns, Harry Rovanperä, another favorite for this rally. Question is, can he threaten Grunholm? Keep your eyes on the clock.
Oikein helppo miinus, pidä kirraa, 2 vasen eri suppu, usko. 5. Vasen täys sisältä 3. Nyppy yli pitkä oikein eri plus. 7. Nyppy täys. Maali.
He was 8 seconds slower than Grunholm, but he did go fast enough to pick up third place. That position, however, is by no means safe. Tommy Mäkinen is on his tail and just 1 second behind.
Yli kapea, keventää lopussa 100. Varon nyppy vasemmalle, keventää 10, pitkä vasen nopea, miinus.
Petter Solberg was held up in traffic and arrived late at the stage start. In a sport where every second counts, that's bad news. Petter was penalized 10 more seconds added to his time.
Jatkuu nyppy 140.
Skoda's Tony Gardemeister put his early troubles behind him. The Finn hustled around the stage and claimed 5th overall. Great news for the Skoda team.
Huomio. Nyppy pitkä pyöreä ohi.
A totally different look to the leaderboard. Sitting happily on top is Markus Grunholm, while Sebastian Loeb drops back to 6th. McRae is out of sight.
Colin, what happened on that second stage?
We just it was just a bit of a late call in the notes and came into one corner too quick and spun in the bank and blocked the filter with snow.
In the first stage we had some good conditions. The grip was the same everywhere. On the second stage we had some snow in the 10 or 12 first kilometer from the stage, and we had no grip. We had to clean the road, no grip. So
first stage was quite clean. The second one, I was a little bit careful near the beginning. There was quite a bit of snow just at the edge of the road, and the car, every time you put a couple, the 2 side wheels onto it to take a line, there was no grip, so you have to just drive really straight in the middle of the road, and I think I lost a bit of time there to Markus.
Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen. Welcome back to Sweden, where the frozen forest promised more high-octane drama. But first, don't forget that at the end of the event, Nicky Grist will be choosing the Inmarsat star of the rally. Could be a driver, co-driver, or a mechanic. Right now, Nicky takes us through the next stage.
Stage 3, the longest stage of the rally at just under 44 kilometers. Very, very quick for the first 2/3 of the stage, mostly 5th and 6th gear. The last 14 Ks, there's some demanding, twisty sections, which makes it very difficult, and some tricky bad gambers which can easily take you into the snowbank. It's been snowing for over an hour before the first car's gone into the stage, which is going to make it quite tricky for the first 3 cars on the stage, which are all the Citroens. They may have to take the snow tyre to sweep the snow off the surface, where the later cars may benefit from taking the ice tyre, which will give them much more grip on the cleaner road. If you're confused about these tyre options, just listen to the expert.
This tyre in front of me here is an ice tyre with an asymmetrical pattern, horizontal blocks and diagonally placed blocks. That is for traction and grip in a straight line and also in corners. The alternative tyre for Sweden is this snow pattern. Again, a very narrow tyre with the same number of studs, but this time with a familiar tractor type pattern of tread blocks that is aimed at clearing fresh snow from the top of the stage. The other obvious thing about the Swedish tyres is the narrow dimension. This is to ensure that all of the car's weight goes through the smallest contact patch possible. At an average speed of 120 kilometers an hour, each stud hits the ground 17 times a second. That's some punishment.
The Michelin guys should certainly know which tires to use. They've won 21 of the last 23 Swedish rallies. First up on the road, Sebastian Loeb, who must have been praying he'd chosen the right tire to help gain back some of the time he'd lost. Sebastian was still struggling, and he continued to slide down the leaderboard.
400 mètres. Droite en prend un peu moins, mais on parle.
Carlos Sainz has been closer than anyone on breaking the Scandinavian stranglehold here in Sweden.
Derecha rápida, menos que cierra. 2.
Doesn't look like Carlos will do it this year. Just watch. Proving precision is everything here in Sweden. Didi Ariel is clearly enjoying his return to the WRC in his Skoda. Watch him guide his Octavia through the stage. Another victim of the snowbanks. Look at it again and you can see once the 94 world champ gets the rear of the car out of shape, there's no catching it. No such worries for his teammate, Tony Gardemeister, who is still heading the Skoda attack and still up in the points. And fellow countryman Yanni Tuahino, who is also benefiting from running further back on the road. Last year, Hyundai's Freddie Loix was a hero of the rally when he competed with a broken foot. This year, he is back, foot intact, with the lack of testing in the Hyundai showing both cars are still well off the pace. Meanwhile, Harry Rovanperä looked in complete control as he maneuvered his way around the stage.
3. Rytky oikein K2.
But when the Peugeot stalled, it took an agonizing 2 attempts to get the 206 to fire back to life. All the time, the clock was ticking. There were more worries for Peugeot. Richard Burns complained of transmission problems, making it difficult to use the handbrake. His grip on second place was slipping.
Right plus 15, medium left 40, easy left long and fast left plus long 40, flat right, 60 braking medium right.
Marcus Grunholm's calm, cool, and collected as usual, totally focused on setting the fastest time on the stage as we go on board with the world champ as he tries to beat Richard Burns' time, shown on the right. .1 seconds quicker. Grunholm is amazing. Tommy Mäkinen's flying in a car that looks like it can rival the Peugeots, but could he beat Grunholm on this stage? The clock will tell the story.
4. Pitkä oikein nopea plus kirraa vähän maaliin.
Tommy is 8 seconds slower than Marcus. Tommy won't be too unhappy. Thanks to Burns and Rovanperä's problems, he's moved up to 2nd overall. Also doing pretty good is Juuso Puukalisto.
It's very nice to see Tommy Mäkinen right back up there in the leaders board again.
And it's a good feeling to drive. We had an excellent test and car feels very, very nice to drive. We just try to find best solution for tires, which seems to be a bit difficult because it's snowing a little bit and it seems to be quite a lot of snow here and there.
The lead is okay, but we have done only 3 stages, so still many to go, and we will see. But of course I'm happy with the driving and with the car and with myself, so it's okay.
Stages are okay. I like those. Okay, it's quite a lot of snow and it's quite sleepy sometimes. Almost went out a few times and that's it.
I'm very happy about the result because, of course, I didn't expect that we can go this far because all the other guys is also in the race. There is anybody is not retired yet.
Harry Rovanperä is back behind the wheel of a Peugeot for the first time this year and is putting the heat on Richard Burns. Stage 5 when speed continues with WRC coverage. Welcome back to round 2 of the FIA World Rally Championship, the Rally Sweden. On stage 4, Malta, the fans are doing whatever they could to stay warm. Colin McRae launched his car into the stage with the hope there wouldn't be any more surprises waiting for him in the snow. Unfortunately, he was hoping in vain. This second brush with the snow means McRae will need a miracle to win this year's rally. Marco Martin was just barely hanging on to the lead of the Ford attack. His 22-year-old teammate Yanni Tuahino is inside of his team leader. and he was just 1 second behind.
100 flat right.
This is the closest Petter Solberg gets to a home game. Hundreds of fans have made the trip over the border from Norway to see their hero in action. There wasn't much to cheer about. Petter was still way out the pace and out of the race for the lead. All three Peugeots, however, were still in the thick of the race up front.
Max, the left Max, 30 braking flat right in long.
The battle between Richard Burns and Harry Rovanperä was heating up. When Burns headed into the stage, there was just 5 seconds between them and no room for error. It's Richard's ability to adapt to all conditions that makes him one of the greatest drivers in the world. Watch him as he goes. But Harry Rovanperä grew up on snow, and he's equally cool and equally committed. Unhappily for Burns, he's also faster on this stage by 3 seconds. Marcus Grönholm might not be under the same pressure, but he can't sit back either. Mäkkinen's on his tail. There's not a flicker of emotion as he cruises through the stage, and of course, that's the fastest time. It's been a long time since Tommi Mäkinen won a rally, over a year in fact, but it looks like the Mac's back, and he's not giving up on chasing down Grönholm. Grönholm's opening the gap, but as we've already seen, it takes just one tiny mistake to turn triumph into catastrophe. Richard Burns is facing increasing pressure from his teammate Harry Rovanperä, and any mistakes will certainly be costly. Francois Duval made his WRC debut in Sweden just last year and impressed Ford with his 10th place finish. This year, the extremely slippery conditions were tough on the youngster. It's a tough way to find out how hard the Swedish Rally can bite. The impact was so big that Duval's car was stuck in the middle of the stage. This onboard shows co-driver Jean-Marc Fortin as he tries to warn Armin Schwartz that the stricken Ford is blocking the road. And Schwartz grinds to a stop, so does the stage, which had to be canceled. One more stage left on day one, and we'll be right back with the action. With Francois Duval's accident essentially ending stage 5, crews made their way to the final stage of day 1. Sebastian Loeb started the day as a rally leader, but the way things were going, it looked like he wasn't destined to end it that way. Egged on by the local commentator, whose Swedish is much better than mine, Richard Burns finally went quickest. At last, Tommi Mäkinen has reason to smile. A good day's work from the 4-time world champ to finish in second. There's no doubt as to the man who's out in front. It's Marcus Grönholm. He continues with his dazzling display. The others will only be able to dream of catching him.
We're in a great position tomorrow to fight with Harry and Tommy. And I don't know about catching Marcus, but he's not so far in front, and it only takes a small mistake. But I think if he doesn't make any mistakes, it's very difficult to catch him.
Morning is not so easy for me, but after 2 stages, coming a little bit feeling because last race is a long time ago, but end of the day is okay.
What's it going to take to catch Marcus tomorrow?
we try to go faster. We try to push as hard as we can, and we have to be careful with our tyre choices, what we can do if we can find something better.
You've got a lead of just half a minute. Is that going to be enough tomorrow?
No, we have to push more because it's not. I can have a spin or some problems, so I want to have more.
2 big battles to look forward to as Mäkinen chases Grönholm and Burns tries to fight off Harry Rovanperä. Further down the leaderboard, Colin McRae is buried down in 13th, just 1 place below teammate Carlos Sainz. Nicky, what's your take on the day's action?
What an interesting day's rallying we've had today. Citroën 1, 2, 3 on Monte Carlo, an incredible start to their season. Their expectations were high, but through no fault of Citroën's, just the drivers having numerous spins. All 3 cars outside the top 10. The only real problem of the day was for poor Duval on stage 5, having suspension failure and out of the rally. Tommy Mäkinen in second place, pushing hard, trying to get that victory. But it's all about these guys behind us, and especially Marcus Grönholm. The guy is totally dominant. But you've got Harry Rovanperä and Richard Burns all very close with Tommy Mäkinen. Tomorrow is going to be more a battle about second place. I think Marcus Grönholm's looking comfortable, but it's still a long way to go.
Nicky making a real fashion statement there with the layered look. With 151 wins and 17 championships between them, we'll take a look at some of the World Rally Championship's greatest ever drivers.
Walter was able to win everywhere. He was able to win on asphalt, on gravel, on snow. Maybe not in Finland. Okay, but if not everywhere, he was able to win.
Most fun and the one who looked like he enjoyed himself the most was Marco Alén.
I always enjoyed watching Harry Vatanen, for sure. There was always a bit of excitement there, and he was, a bit more exuberant than anyone else.
Juha would set out at the start of a rally, sort of saying to everybody, well, this is how fast I think you can go. If you think you can go faster than this, good luck to you. Let's wait and see if you're there on Sunday.
Carlos, I have to say, he's doing always, he's always finishing 100%.
It's many good drivers in each, for example, in 60s or 70s or 80s, but if you look at the 90s, is nobody else than, Tommy Mäkinen, definitely.
Raw talent. So I saw myself in him as a driver.
I think that there's no question the man of the moment is Marcus Grönholm, and some of the performances that he puts in are absolutely, I think, it's like something I haven't really seen before. To take 30 seconds out of everybody in Monte Carlo on stage 2, it takes a pretty special guy.
Marcus Grönholm might be the man of the hour after day 1 on Sweden, but another flying Finn has every intention of breathing down his neck. Stay tuned when we return here on Speed. One day down and 2 to go. The day gets going at 5:30 a.m. and has 6 grueling stages. This is going to be a long day. It kicks off with the longest stage of the rally. This stage was first run yesterday, and this was where a number of drivers had problems. Before the first competitor is allowed out onto the stage, it'll be checked by the Zero car. Here it's driven by 1979 World Rally champion and local hero, Bjorn Waldergaard. For an update on conditions, here's Nicky Grist and Penny Mallory.
Here we have the stage Grand Berget. To the left is yesterday's stage, and to the right, this morning's stage. They're running just after dawn, and that's why the picture's so dark. You can see there's a most definite clean line from yesterday's stage, but it's also been ploughed, and all that loose snow has been swept aside, picking up extra grip. But most definitely, the leading group are going to benefit from a much cleaner road again. This is going to be a much faster stage today.
Day one saw Monte Carlo winner Sebastian Loeb having a dreadful day and ending it down in 18th. Not much better for teammate Colin McRae, who was 13th. But world champion Marcus Grönholm had a pretty faultless time, was one of the few drivers not to have high-speed spins. But just 27 seconds behind him was 4 times world champion and previous winner of the Rally of Sweden, Tommi Mäkinen, with a glint in his eye that we haven't seen for a long time. He is now on maximum attack. But don't forget the Brit, Richard Burns, who wants to become the first non-Scandinavian ever to win the Rally of Sweden. Everything is now set for another fantastic day of action.
Thanks, Penny. There's also different weather conditions this morning. Temperature a little bit warmer at 32 degrees. Today the cars run in reverse order. For 10th place Armin Schwartz, that meant an early start. He had the tough job of sweeping the road with a Hyundai that's still well off the pace. And to top it off, nothing but fog. He must be wishing he could have stayed in bed this morning.
Cars pressed fine as it left 3 opens.
Next up, Colin McRae. Now, although he's competed in this rally many times, this is the first time, of course, in the Citroen. Battling to put yesterday's problems behind him, Colin's on a charge. Scott went fast enough to move in front of teammate Carlos Sainz. The man they call El Matador stalled at the start of the stage. Frustration was clear. He was 13th fastest through the stage and 13th in the rally. Hyundai's Freddie Leutz was quickly finding out how slippery the stage was. Fast Freddie is pushing hard because he knows he's within striking distance of Tony Gardemeister, who's competing for Skoda. That run-in with the snowbank pretty much ruined his chances. Could the Finn fend off Leutz? On board inside the Skoda. The clock on the right shows Gardemeister's target and his own time as he approaches the end of the stage.
Kirra, maali.
4 seconds slower. That's a blow to his chances of holding on to 8th. Fast Freddie's just under 2 seconds behind now. You might never have heard of Juuso Puukalisto, but in the future, we may be seeing a lot more of this impressive Finn. Marcus Grönholm's so impressed, he's taking the youngster under his wing, and the help's paying off. Juuso is 6th overall. A Finn we all recognize, of course, is Harry Rovanperä. Watch this, he makes it look so easy. The mission, take 3rd from teammate Richard Burns. Burns looks fast on this stage, in fact very fast, but he also knows that one slight mistake here can cost you dearly. Keep an eye on the clock on the right.
Easy left, 20 medium right minus, and opens to medium right opens, go 60 medium right plus tightens, the K right plus 80, slight left, 60, slight left.
Not quick enough, Richard. His teammate's now just 0.5 of a second behind. Nicky Grist?
Let's ride on board with Tommy. He's absolutely desperate to catch Marcus Grönholm and put a performance together. He hasn't won for such a long time. We're coming close to the end of the stage here. It's just under 44 kilometers, and it's very hard on the tyres. They've worked exceptionally hard to this point, but he's trying to keep it in that clean line. As you can see, the gravel is not quite through the road, but that's where the grip is. And it's obviously getting a lot of movement because he goes into this corner, a massive amount of turn in there, and then he's oversteering, clipping the snowbank on the exit. He's losing time here. But it's such a long stage, you have to get everything right, and it's still very, very quick, accelerating in 6th gear up to 170 kph. Let's see what he's got to say at the stop line.
Tommy, do you think you've managed to take any time off Marcus on that stage?
Difficult to say. We had different type of tire. We had a little bit longer sets than Marcus too, and at the end we lost quite a lot grip. It's very difficult to say. It was more gravel what I supposed before.
For those of you searching for a calculator, 170 kilometers is about 105 miles an hour. The big question now is, what will the world champ do? It's not often things go wrong for the Iceman, but here they did. The hole he hit was just a half-mile in. Steering was affected, and Gronholm had to drive a grueling 26 miles to get to the end of the stage. He was only 1.5 seconds slower than Tommy and held on to the lead.
Marcus, how was the long stage?
Not so good. After 2Ks, I hit the hole or a stone somewhere, and toe in went wrong on the car, and it was very difficult to drive.
There's nothing to separate Burns and Rovanperä, and with Tommy on his game, Marcus must be starting to feel the pressure. So Nicky, what I want to know is, Marcus keeps his lead, but just how much did the damage from the hole really hurt him?
With the help of Virtual Spectator, we've overlaid Marcus Gronholm from stage 3 yesterday with stage 7, the 44-kilometer section, today. As you see, going into this left-hand corner on stage 7, he understeers wide. I spoke with him at service, and he told me that on left-hand corners he was really struggling, but only on the tight and twisty sections. And you can see that he's lost a lot of time, but also, more critically, he lost 4 seconds to Harry Rovanperä.
We'll be right back with more from the Rally of Sweden after this. Welcome back to the Rally Sweden. I'm Ralph Shaheen. At just over 11 miles, stage 8, known as Frederiksberg, isn't expected to have a lot of surprises.
120. Jump middle, 120.
Into the stage comes the Citroens. First in, Colin McRae. He'd already claimed 1 place, and he is looking to get back into the thick of the battle.
150. Jump, 70, 6 press. 50 left tight to 4, open, 70.
Carlos Sainz was going pretty good too. In fact, by a strange twist of fate, he'd ended the stage winner, but you'll have to stick around to find out why. Here's Petter Solberg. Some call him the young Colin McRae, and on days like this, it's easy to see why. Ford's hopes for this rally were struck a blow yesterday when Francois Duval's big off caused him to retire. No such worries for Marco Martin. He was up to 5th. Here's a view from Marco's bumper. Unfortunately, the cold hasn't been too kind to our onboard camera, but you get a feel for the momentum. Now, Ford's getting ready to debut their new Focus, and it might actually show up for the first time at the Malcolm Wilson Rally, which is held every year in Great Britain. Of course, it's heavily sponsored by Malcolm Wilson, Ford's rally chief. He's done this before, showing off cars like the Focus when it first debuted back in 1998 at Ford's test track in Dun. His co-driver will be his 16-year-old son, Matthew.
100 for 5 minus right, long over bridge.
Juuso Pucalisto is trying to catch the works Peugeots. This time he tried a little too hard. Away from our cameras, he rolled the car. Next into the stage, Harry Rovanperä. With less than a second separating him from Burns, there was everything to go for. Rovanperä always drives 100% committed, or as the Finns call it, maximum attack, even in these conditions. There's so many fans lining these stages that Rovanperä doesn't realize that some of them are trying to warn him to slow down. By the time he sees Juuso's car, it's too late. This amazing footage caught by a fan shows a problem. Rovanperä simply didn't know Pucalisto's car was sitting in the middle of the road. Another look from the onboard as Harry approaches a stricken Peugeot, and a heavy impact awaits. As Richard Burns arrives at the scene, it's clear both Harry and Juuso are going to be forced out of the rally. Burns co-driver Robert Reed alerts the team.
Supervision for Robert. We've stopped in the stage behind a lot of cars. PC for Robert, please speak to me.
Je vois bien for PC.
Yeah, can you, now we think Youthrow needs an ambulance. Can you tell the organisers, please, they have to come with medical?
An ambulance arrives on the scene to take the totally shaken Pucolisto to the hospital. Rovanpera's not going anywhere either. His suspension totally destroyed. Fortunately, Yuso only suffers from shock and a mild concussion. And Rovanpera checks his friend to make sure he's okay while the rest of the crews wait patiently for the road to be cleared. There's no way there'll be any more competitive drives through this stage, and just like yesterday after Duval's smash, the stage is abandoned.
There's a lot of people on the road, many kilometers there, and I not recognize this. There is something's problem because I not see there is nobody take the good mark. This road is closed, and we coming over the crest, and I see there is one car, and we hit the car and finished.
The leading drivers who didn't complete the stage, Marcus Grönholm, Tommy Mäkinen, and Richard Burns, were all given the same time as pace setter Carlos Sainz, but all the lower order drivers were given a slower time, and that includes Sebastian Loeb. The Swedish Rally continues here on Speed Channel in a minute. Welcome back to Sweden, where there's still plenty to come on this classic World Rally event. First, it's not just the WRC drivers who are struggling with these treacherous conditions. There's a whole host of other competitors too, including local hero Tony Rickardson, whose face you might recognize.
Well, Tony, how's a 5 times World Speedway champion getting on his first rally?
Yeah, we feel pretty good. We try to stay in the middle of the road all the time, and we've been doing it so far, and so we feel pretty confident. We're not going really over the top on going really fast, but we find a good tempo now that I think we can hopefully finish a rally on.
What about Marcus Grönholm on a speedway bike?
That will be interesting. I think I have a few tips I can give him there.
Unlike his bike, at least Tony's car comes in brakes. Let's get a look at stage 9 now from Nicky Grist from inside the Zero car.
Stage 9, the first 15 kilometers of this stage is new for this year. It's this stage the organisers are worried about, with gravel coming up through the ice. But speaking to the competitors, they say it's so fast in here, they don't see a problem. You've got a lot of 6-gear corners. Committing yourself at 180 kilometers on pure ice, it's not for the faint-hearted.
Thanks, Nicky. Well, the afternoon sun brings slightly warmer weather, but the snow's not going anywhere. Still fuming about the time he was given after the last stage, Sebastian Loeb looked like he was using his car to vent his anger. He was so worked up, he found some extra speed and set the 3rd fastest time.
200 mètres, droite 140 bon rail. 200 mètres, droite 140 bon rail. 300 mètres, gauche 130 plus, Milan ouvre.
On board with Yanni Tuahino, who's one of the young guns looking for a full-time WRC drive. When it comes to moose passing points, Yanni rules today. Never enough moose crossing signs when you need them. A lot of the car manufacturers have been in heavy conversation with the tire manufacturers about maybe bringing less tire choices to each rally. Their hope is to reduce grip. The reason being, they think if they can reduce tire grip, reduce tire choices, they might actually increase the quality of the racing. It's cold outside, but the race for 4th is heating up. The man who's holding the position right now is Marco Martin, who's been thrilling the fans who came all the way from his home in Estonia. And it's easy to see why.
40 for minus right slow. Short 3 left, 1 right.
Colin McRae's happier today than he was yesterday, and it's showing. When he started the stage, there was a chance he could actually catch Martin.
into 6 left minus and right and 4 left plus opens 150.
Petter Solberg's not having a great rally, but he's still a lot of fun to watch. We're going to go on board now inside the Norwegian's car. Commentary provided by his Welsh co-driver Phil Mills.
Minus to opens 80. Keep right to crest into flat 6 left plus opens 80. Flat crest 180. Flat crest into 6 left plus opens over crest 100. Line into neat 6 left minus tightens 5. Keep in snow into 5 right plus opens 6 plus over crest 50. Flat right over crest 60.
There's over 2 miles of cables for the electronics in the Subaru. Petter runs in 5th. Richard Burns might not have to worry about Harry Rovanperä anymore, but that doesn't mean he'll sit back. His 3rd place looks pretty safe, but the former world champ would love to catch Mäkinen and Grönholm.
30 flat left, 120 flat right plus to right crest 80.
It's not going to be easy when Tommi Mäkinen's on his game. 2nd fastest on the stage and over 10 seconds ahead of Burns.
Ja nyt vasemmalle täys 5. K oikein plus yli aukee heti. Huomio 15 alas. K oikein helppo.
It was business as usual inside the car of the world champ. The trauma of the day's earlier stage didn't even phase him. Marcus is still fastest and in the lead. Marcus has changed the tone on his cell phone to ring to the Queen tune of "We Are the Champions." So Grönholm extends his lead, but just look at Colin McRae. He's up to 7th and threatening to pounce on the drivers above him.
Yanni, I hear you had a very close encounter with the Swedish wildlife.
Yeah, last day we're coming over the crest and it's about 200. After the crest we're coming flat out and moose, and it was running on the road and we have to slow down and drove a little bit behind, and after that carefully over the right side. Don't hit, but it's very, very near.
Marco, you're up to 4th overall now, but there's lots of drivers just behind you that won that 4th spot.
Yeah, it's definitely many drivers want our place, but we'll try hard to keep our position because we lost so much time yesterday, and finally we are back on the map basically, so we'll try to stay there.
Tommy, are you going to have to wait for Marcus Grönholm to make a mistake to lead this rally?
I don't think it is a good idea here because he knows this event very well, and not very easily any mistakes for him, I think.
It's easy to make a mistake here in the snow and in the sleepy conditions, so but I try to really avoid the mistakes and to do my best.
Having trouble sleeping?
Have to be a die-hard fan to stand all day in these freezing forests. The Swedes certainly are. Thousands of them wait for hours just to catch a glimpse of their heroes. Looks like quite a party. Here's one of the men they have come to see, Carlos Sainz. Just like his teammate McRae, he's making his charge at the leaderboard. His target on this stage, Freddie Loix, and Carlos was fast enough to take him for 8th. Now it's Colin's turn to charge, and when he's in the mood, there's not much that can stop him. Solberg and Gardemeister couldn't, and the Scot passed them both. Now he had his eyes on Marco Martin's 4th place.
4 plus. Into 4 right plus over crest, wide. And left, and 6 right over crest, 30. 4 right plus, line, and clear, 3 left.
Over big jump in.
Richard Burns was hoping he could close the gap to Mäkinen, but not this time.
Fast right, long, and fast right plus. To flat right, 60 fast left.
Tommy was faster, but his mind wasn't on protecting 2nd, it was on catching Marcus.
Ja nyppy huomio 25, nyppy ja pitkä paha oikea risteys. 5. Oikein täys 3.
Once again, Marcus was fastest through the stage, and the message is clear. Grönholm's not backing off.
Nyt vasenlaita tarkkana hyppää. Joo, nyt vasenlaita tarkkana hyppää ja oikein helppo. 7. Ja vasen, nyt oikein kirjaa vähän.
No change in the top 4 positions, but there are charges being mounted. And before we get into stage 11, here's Nicky Grist with a look at how power gets turned into forward motion.
What car can you buy at home for $70,000? If you want a Subaru World Rally car, that would only buy you the gearbox. This computer-controlled hydraulic change box will take you from first to sixth and back to first again in the same time it would take you to shift 1 gear in an average sports car. The advantage of the Subaru gearbox, the hydraulic change uses the standard H-shift pattern, allowing the driver to go straight from sixth right down to first. Every other World Rally car uses a sequential motorbike version where they have to manually shift through every gear. The advantage of this, if the driver does unfortunately spin, he can simply flick the switch to reverse, flick it back again, accelerate, and off he goes. Every other driver loses so much time trying to change gear. One other thing to remember, these World Rally car gearboxes only need a clutch to stop and start. Every other change you can do without it.
Great stuff, Nicky. Well, we'll see if Colin McRae can continue his charge. The next stage is one he still holds the record on. Welcome back to the Swedish Rally in Stage 11. It was a new stage in 2002, and it's identical again today. The run is nearly 12 miles. Poor old Tony Gardemeister paid the price here last year, having a big accident in his Skoda that ended his event. Bad tire choice compounded Petter Solberg's problems. He's come here determined to push for a win, but this just doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it this year. He's over 2 minutes down. With Skoda's Tony Gardemeister on his tail, the Czech team is hoping their young driver can get a good result and possibly some valuable points. Skoda is part of Volkswagen Group, which includes, of course, Volkswagen, Audi, Bentley, and Seat. Skoda will get central responsibility for the group's motorsports activity. No one is going to F1, which had been rumored. Skoda will get full access to VW Group's R&D for the new Fabia, which should be testing hopefully by May. No parts from the Octavia seen here will be included into the Fabia, and it might even run the last 3 rounds of the 2003 WRC calendar. The Fabia much smaller than the big heavy Octavia. Colin McRae looks like he's salvaged some points, and he's hoping for a good run again on day 3.
4 left plus line 70. Right, tightens to 4 plus opens and clear. Right over long crest, tightens to 5 plus. Into 4 left plus opens.
So what about the Ice King himself, Marcus Grönholm? He just makes it look so easy. In fact, he's so fast, he's 4.6 seconds quicker than Mäkinen, putting even more daylight between him and his nearest rival. The last stage of the day is a fan's delight, the Hagfors Sprint. But it didn't delight Marcus. For the first time on this rally, he wasn't smooth and was only 6th fastest on the stage. It's not often the Finn is beaten, but this stage was won by his closest rival, Tommi Mäkinen.
Richard, you don't seem to have been too happy with your performance today.
No, correct. Not very good. I can't get a very good feeling in the car at all, and I've really had no chance to try and fight Tommy because I'm trying very hard and the time isn't there.
Marcus is looking very strong for your 3rd victory in Sweden tomorrow.
Yeah, it looks good now, but as I always say, that it's still tomorrow we have to go through, and you never know, but it looks good, yes.
Marcus Grönholm says he's going to win this rally tomorrow. Are you the man to stop him?
It's not very easy. He has done incredible speed. We try to do what we can. It's not gonna be easy. I think it's impossible if nothing happens.
At the end of another thrilling day, there's nearly 40 seconds between the two Finns. Burns looks pretty safe for third, and McRae's back in the points. At the other end of the leaderboard, Sebastian Loeb has also had a good recovery. Nikki, what do you think?
I think today Marcus Grönholm has put together another solid performance. Everybody expects him to do exceptionally well, and he told me he's comfortable and he's cruising. That certainly does look like it from the outside. I think that Harry Rovanperä, who started this morning very solidly, was thought and really felt that he could catch Marcus Grönholm, but a stupid mistake by him on stage 8, as you can see, has left him here in the service area tonight. Tommi Mäkinen, though, for me, has been the star of today. Put in a fantastic performance and really wants to do well. He's not done anything really since Monte Carlo Rally in 2002 and really is performing exceptionally well. I think that he's not necessarily going to catch Grönholm, but he feels that he can consolidate second place, but pushing hard all the same. Richard Burns, again comfortable in third place, but we've got an interesting scrap tomorrow between Marco Martin, Colin McRae, and Petter Solberg's not far behind. That's the only interesting scrap that we've got tomorrow. But let's just wait and see.
Welcome back to Rally Sweden. I'm Ralph Shaheen. For decades, this event's been thrilling crowds. So let's delve back into the archive and find out a little bit about the history of this event. It's no surprise Scandinavian drivers are dominating the 52nd running of the Rally Sweden, but there are no drivers from the host country fighting for the win, as there is no Swede with a drive in a full WRC car this year. Kenneth Eriksson and Thomas Rodström were both winners in the 90s, but this year there is nobody to uphold the proud tradition of 5-time winner Bjorn Waldegard, who's driving the Zero car here, and 7-time champion Stig Blomqvist.
We have lots and lots of talented drivers. They have just had a problem to present themselves for the big teams. The Finnish people and drivers seem to be much better to present themselves than Swedish drivers. But we will try to change that because I'm involved in a new project with the Motorsport Federation of Sweden where we will do our best to, in a couple of years, to have one there.
Stig is racing here and currently lies 29th in the rally. Here's an update on another Swede, former Speedway motorcycle champ Tony Rickardsson. He's 43rd. We told you at the top of the show that the Swedish Rally was going to be fast and furious, but who could have imagined it was going to be as wild as this? On the first day, there was speed and spins. On the second day, there were jumps and bumps. Including one that was pretty spectacular. That was Harry Rovanperä hitting a stranded Juuso Pukulisto.
We coming over the crest and I see there is one car and we hit the car and finished.
Thankfully, Pukulisto suffered only a minor concussion. This is the final day of Rally Sweden. 5 slippery stages lie ahead and it promises to be a thriller. There's a thaw going on in the forest and most of the final stages have been used before. That means a perfect icy surface might give way to gravel. Bad news for the tire guys. Every driver needs a perfect setup today because there's everything to fight for. Keep your eye on Tommi Mäkinen. He's trying to snatch Marcus Grönholm's lead, and there'll be a big fight for fourth between Marco Martin, Colin McRae, and Petter Solberg. Just outside the points is Monte Carlo winner Sebastian Loeb, who's on the tail of Freddie Loix. Grönholm can't afford to make any mistakes. A 40-second lead isn't enough to make him feel too comfortable. Just one half spin could hand the victory to Tommi Mäkinen. Tommy's back to his blistering best and enjoying every minute of it. The fire's lit in Richard Burns as well, even though he's not happy with his car, but he does look safe for third. These guys are ready for a big fight. For course, Marco Martin enjoyed yesterday's conditions and climbed up to fourth. Colin McRae had an even better day. His speed and skill helped him move from 13th to 5th and within striking distance of Martin. Petter Solberg wants that position as well. So far, he's not driven to his full potential, but Petter loves a fight, and today might just swing his way. This is the arena for that battle. Day 3's action takes place deep in the Swedish forest. 5 stages to run with the service park at Hagfors. It's the first 2 stages that are going to be crucial. These were first run on day 1 when sub-zero temperatures ensured a good covering of ice. In 1979, Bjorn Baldegard was the greatest rally driver in the world. Today he's driving a zero car, checking everything, making sure it's okay before the stage starts. Nikki, how are the stages different from the opening day?
Here we have Sågen from day 1. Very cold conditions, but very, very nice. A perfect surface and great rally roads. But look at Sågen today with the thaw. The ice is quite thin. You can see the dark gravel underneath, but it's still a good clean line. If we look at Raman on day 1, again, nice surface and good conditions. But then when you look at Raman today, it's quite clear that the ice is breaking down and you've got actual gravel coming through. It's this that's difficult on the tyres. If you try too hard too soon, at the end of the stage you will suffer.
All right, Nikki, when we return, we'll see just how the crews are coping with those changing conditions.
So the final day of the Rally of Sweden, Marcus Gronholm may have a 38-second lead, but Tommy Mäkinen is on maximum attack to try and spoil his weekend. And behind them, Richard Burns is frustrated and unhappy with his Peugeot. But with Marco Martin and Colin McRae charging from behind, there is still all to play for. Even the housewife's choice, Sebastian Loeb, is still in with a chance of getting some points here. So there's battles all over the place and a cracking final day stages to come.
It's just after 8 in the morning, and these are tense moments for the crews who are waiting to start the stage and get on with the job.
Three, 2, 1.
The cars are running in reverse order today. First to start his campaign for 4th place is Petter Solberg.
Line into 6 right, minus tightens. Early keep in into 6 left, open 16.
Subaru are the only team on Pirelli tires, and Petter was hoping this could help to give him the edge. Everyone else chose an ice tire, anticipating a harder surface, but Solberg took the snow option, and it apparently worked. The Norwegian, determined to catch his rivals, is finally happy. He flew through the 8.5 miles in just over 7 minutes. Colin McRae is one of the most spectacular drivers in the championship. His climb up the leaderboard and into this fight was one of the highlights of yesterday. Flinging his car around at 125 miles an hour was Colin. Now he's approaching the stage end and about to find out if he's faster than Solberg. His target and his own timer on the right.
Left. 9 6 right.
He's slower than Solberg, but is it enough to eat into Marco Martin's time? Yesterday, the Estonian showed he preferred the warmer conditions, and with temperatures hovering around freezing again, should be business as usual. Remember, Colin's time was 7 minutes 24 seconds. Keep an eye on the clock to the right.
100. Flat left, easy right.
Martin, for now, holds on to 4th.
Marco, you've just extended your lead over Colin McRae. Do you think you can hold him off today?
That's the plan anyway. I don't know. We'll see. It's a long way to go.
The 45-second gap between Martin and Burns means the Peugeot driver should feel confident as he begins his campaign to hold on to 3rd.
60.
Of course, the former world champ looking for maximum points. He's fast and sets Tommy Mäkinen as a target. Tommy is truly enjoying his battle with Marcus Gronholm. This is the first time in a while that he's been running so well.
Safety man. 1 vasen täysmaaliin.
Tommy was fast and loving it.
Stage clear for Marcus. Tommy, sorry. I have time for... Hold on, stand by.
Tommy, you've just set a new stage record. What were the conditions like in there?
Incredible good grip. Very, very fast condition.
If it stays like that for the rest of the day, do you think there's any chance of catching Marcus?
We try to do what we can. We go flat out, of course, and we hope it does.
There's never much emotion on the face of the world champ. He's always cool as ice. That also means he rarely makes a mistake.
4 ja vasen pirupitkä nopea kirraa.
No exception this time, a flawless drive. But how fast was Marcus?
Vasen laita, oikea laita, vasen eri jouhe, 7 ja oikea eri miinus.
Not as quick as Tommy, but that doesn't mean he was in trouble. He was just being a little careful. Mäkinen will creep a little closer to Grönholm, and that battle for fourth still alive and well. Now the Rally Sweden continues on the home of the World Rally Championship, Speed. Final day of the Swedish Rally, and it's nice to see the fans haven't been too bored. It's 9:30 as the cars start their second run through Ramen. Jani Tuohino and co-driver Jukka Aho are competing in a privately entered Ford Focus. The Finnish pair are tipped to be stars of the future. Unfortunately, the performance today wasn't going to impress anybody. Sebastian Loeb was chasing Freddie Loix and Carlos Sainz and was going pretty good. Nobody wants a repeat of yesterday's Peugeot incident. Perhaps the marshals are being a little too cautious. Sebastian has slowed down, but he doesn't know why. Seems like forever before he reaches Tuohino is well off the road. Sebastian's furious. Next through is Carlos Sainz. He too is urged to take his foot off the gas, but clearly it doesn't cost him as much as it does Loeb. Yanni finally gets going, and look how close Carlos is. By the end of the stage, El Matador is fuming.
Still we finished the stage, but I slowed down a lot. Because all the spectators were waving me.
There's more points at stake for Petter Solberg. Fourth place for him would mean 5 precious points, so the last thing he needs is a delay. Still pleased with his tire choice, he's going pretty good, and there are no delays for him. Safely through, he sets the fastest time so far. But here's Colin McRae. This was the stage where he thought he'd make the big gains on Marco Martin. He approaches the flying finish, and it's clear he's going well. Was it enough to beat Petter? Nearly 2 seconds faster, a classic McRae performance. Marco Martin may be less experienced than Colin, but he has nerves of steel, and now more than ever, he's gonna need them. See if he can keep Colin at bay. Slower, but only by 0.8 of a second. Martin lives to fight another day. Tommy Mäkinen having a great drive through the Swedish forest on a Sunday. Nikki, what's the car telemetry telling us?
The red light is the brake light. You have a look how he uses it to stabilize the car and set the car up. With the use of the steering and the brake, they can get the car to slide much easier. We have a long right-hand corner here up to a junction right. He's down into fourth, now braking, getting the brakes to slide the car, and opposite locking there, whacking the snowbank, getting it back on line, accelerating up to 5th gear. Some rutted tracks here. Keeping it on the clean line under the brakes, accelerating in 6th gear, and now he's away.
Tommy wasn't destined to win the stage, and there's no prizes for guessing who did. Marcus Grönholm cruises through Ramen and beating the stage record by 20 seconds. Just amazing. What a day this is turning out to be. Tuohino's proved Sweden can bite even if you're Scandinavian. The battle for fourth's getting pretty good, and so's the fight for 8th. Hard to tell how much Tuohino's crash affected the pair unless you have virtual spectator. Nikki?
Gardemeister was unaffected at Torino's incident, but both the Citroens were. As you see, Loeb was waved down at this point and Carlos rockets by him. As they get to Torino's car, Carlos hasn't really lost that much time, but Loeb is crawling and left way behind. Although Carlos bitterly complained at the finish, it's Loeb that suffered the most, and he must have lost at least 10 seconds.
Back at service, there's time to reflect and even make decisions and repairs.
Petter, just explain that last tyre choice for us.
Well, actually I should have done it on Friday, and it just seems like me and Tommy have completely different driving style. You know, he are more aggressive, he are more hard braking, throw the car into the corner, but I always more flowing, so I need a little bit more progressive tire, and that's all it is, and it seems to work very well.
Last stage we went off 500 meters before end, and we lost almost 6 minutes.
Carlos, we heard you on the team radio sounding quite annoyed. What happened?
Not annoyed, just that somebody was over the road, and obviously the spectators were stopping us, so we have to lift and come slowly after a crest. And then just when I was coming, I saw the four starting, so.
Join us after the break to find out if it's a driver, co-driver, or mechanic who's been chosen by Nicky Grist as the Inmarsat star of the rally. Coming up, the finish of the Rally Sweden. Join us right here on the home of the World Rally Championship, Speed Channel. After the shortest service stop, the drivers head for one of the event's shortest stages. Hyundai hasn't had a great rally. Team has no funding for testing, and the times tell the story. Harman Schwartz down in 12th, while Freddie Loix was in 9th. But at least the man they call Fast Freddy had a shot at a point.
Top 25, links 100, vroeg in, langsluitbeetje. Op 100, top 25, links 100, vroeg in, langsluitbeetje.
That is, if you could catch Carlos Sainz. Carlos must be praying that there's no more dramas in store for him today, and there wasn't. Safely through and still 16 seconds ahead of Freddie. And just 9 seconds off Tony Gardemeister. The young Finn having one of his best runs in a long time. And we go on board the big Skoda now. He beat Carlos, and Skoda's points are safe for now. Petter Solberg was sticking with the snow tire and hoping it would help to catch McRae. Not this time. Collins on a charge and gunning for Marco Martin. He was truly spectacular on the stage.
And 6 right into 6 crest, keep right, 50, crest and 6 left, and clear, crest and 4 left, minus tightens.
Colin was fastest of everybody. The pressure now on Marco Martin. Tommy Mäkinen hasn't put a foot wrong on this rally and proved the Subaru's a pretty worthy rival to the Peugeots. He's still ahead of Burns and chasing the leader, Grönholm.
Nyt oikeeri plus tiukka, 2 pitkä.
It's just afternoon and it's the second run through Brunberg. Hyundai's Freddie Loix is flying. The team are battling against the odds on this event, but Freddie's goal is clear. He's going after the final driver's point.
Links afvoor, om wordt top 50, rechtsluit direct naar 80 plus. Om wordt top 50, rechtsluit direct naar 80 plus.
One man standing in Freddie's way is Carlos Sainz. The Spaniard is desperately trying to claw back some time and some places, but this isn't the stage for Sainz to shine. He can only manage 9th quickest. Gardemeister is only too aware that a good result here would boost his confidence and the morale of the boys in green.
Oikein K+5.
Colin McRae is still giving it everything he's got to catch fourth place Marco Martin. And Scott knows only too well, time is running out and there's no margin for error.
Open 200.
Marco's having a good rally, and the young Estonian is totally focused and undeterred by McRae. He goes 10 seconds quicker than his former teammate. The gap is now even bigger.
4 plus right.
It's also a determined drive for Tommy Mäkinen. He's pushing to the limit, but perhaps the four-time world champ is trying a little too hard. Luckily, this spin isn't too costly. His second position is safe, but it looks like he won't catch the rally leader. That, of course, is Grönholm. And by the way, the new Peugeot motorhome, it's Michael Schumacher's Formula One motorhome with Ferrari last year. They just put the Peugeot line stickers over the prancing horse logos. Just one stage stands in the way of Marcus in victory. Marco Martin is running away from Colin McRae.
Colin, it looks like Marco Martin's beaten off your challenge.
Yeah, he had a cracking time in the last stage, so it didn't go so well for us in the second half, but he's got a fairly safe gap now.
The first stage win, it took a long time to come, but it was reasonable to try. Yeah, we wanted to make sure that Colin knows that it's quite hard work to beat us. He had the fastest time on a previous stage, and then we had to respond to it and managed okay.
Tommy, your second overall still, but a bit of a moment on the last stage. What happened?
No, it was not any serious. We just went into the tight, very, very tight junction and stalled the engine. It was a bit too much speed and locked the wheels and stalled the engine. It cost a few seconds.
Marcus, 39 kilometers left to go. Looks like you're going to do it again here in Sweden.
Yeah, it looks quite okay. Now we hope for a clean run on the last one and without any trouble, so it will be okay.
Well, Marcus is living up to the nickname Iceman. Can he open up an even bigger gap? Stay tuned to find out. Into Hagfors in a tough end of the rally. Great news for the rally's young guns. Loeb charges through this final stage, moving in front of Sainz and Gardemeister, and finishes 7th. An amazing drive from this up-and-coming star. Marco Martin wins the battle for 4th. Ford should certainly be pleased. It's the more experienced drivers who win the day. Tommy Mäkinen's really enjoyed the weekend, and 2nd is a great finish for him in Subaru.
Tuplahuomiolla hae vasen, kirraa pitkä K vasen.
He wasn't fast enough to catch Marcus, but it's got to be a morale booster. Once again, it's hats off to Marcus Grönholm. He had his first ever victory on the snow in Sweden, and since then, he's been awfully tough to beat here. A flawless drive brings yet another win to the delight of the Peugeot team.
Merci, merci beaucoup.
Yeah!
Marcus and Timo, maybe you don't know, or maybe you know that this is your 13th victory, but nobody in the team is superstitious, so I found another nickname for you. You are now, from now on, Magic Marcus.
Confirmation of the WRC Rally Sweden results. Magic wins from Mäkinen and Burns. Martin hangs on to 4th, and Loeb gets 2 valuable points. After all their efforts, Carlos Sainz, Freddie Loix, and Armin Schwartz are not going to score, but it's all smiles over at Peugeot.
Richard, you're on the podium, but fair to say it's been a very tough rally for you.
Yeah, I found it quite frustrating. Not really able to push as hard as I would like, but still, third place. We made no mistake anywhere really, and a good lot of points.
Last 2 rallies we always lost the battle on Sunday, so I said already in Monte Carlo that third time we have to get it right. So I'm happy to keep Colin behind, and I'm happy with my 4th place as well.
Thank you, guys. I have to say I'm very happy. It's been very nice weekend. Everything worked well. Our mechanics, everybody did 100% work, and so no any bigger problems. Markus was doing very fast, sometimes in incredible times. It was very difficult to beat him.
Congratulations, Marcus. Your 3rd win here in Sweden, and what a way to do it.
Yeah, it was good. No problem with the car, nothing at all, and we were always on the road, so no problem.
Corrado's got a new nickname for you. It's Magic Marcus. What do you think of that?
Sounds a little bit too much, but okay. If you want to call me, it's okay.
Now to the standings. Loeb's still at the top of the leaderboard, but tied with Colin McRae. Kronholm's first win of the season sees him back in the thick of the battle. So are Burns, Martin, and Mäkinen. Championships heating up. At the other end, Tony Gardemeister scores Skoda's first point of the season, but his teammate Didi Oriol is yet to open up his account. In the Manufacturers' Championship, Peugeot have closed the gap. Nikki, Penny, your thoughts?
Well, that was the Swedish Rally, and just as exciting as we thought it would be. And Nikki, you predicted the winner, Marcus Gronholm.
Does that mean you're going to buy me a beer tonight?
Maybe. Now, I've just spoken to Marcus and said to him, you made this win look easy, was it? And he said yes.
I think so. It looked easy for me. Don't get me wrong, he was the quickest guy out there, but it did look easy.
And no mistakes from him as ever, but chasing him hard the whole rally was a very happy, smiley Tommy Mäkinen.
Absolutely. My star of the rally. He drove exceptionally well, and it's about time we saw something. It's a long time since he's performed this way.
Now, lying 3rd overall at the end of the day was Richard Burns, the Brit, who has been very frustrated with his own performance all weekend, but actually has come out with 3rd overall, very unusual for a non-Scandinavian, and he should be thrilled to bits.
The first 2 days were very solid, and he was in no man's land today. All he had to do was finish to pick up that 3rd place.
Now, how do you rate Marco Martin's performance in 4th?
Well, he was under a lot of pressure today. He had a couple of guys behind him chasing hard for those points, but the young lad came up trumps, and he's done exceptionally well.
Now, we've got to talk about Citroën, because they came into this, Sebastian Loeb set the first fastest time of the whole rally.
Yes.
And then it all went wrong.
It all went pear-shaped, and especially for Colin as well. Numerous spins, problems and stalls for Carlos and also for Sebastian, and it was looking horrible, all outside the top 10 on the first day, but they came back very strongly towards the end of day 2, and of course today, and a fantastic charge at the end for Sebastian Loeb.
I know, they've all driven very well, and Colin McRae and Sebastian Loeb now lead the World Rally Championship as joint leaders, but don't forget, you've only seen round 1 and round 2, there are 12 more to come.
And it's going to be a great season. Now for the winner of the Inmarsat Star of the Rally Award. With a lackluster 2002 season and miserable Monte Carlo behind him, Sweden has been a different story for Tommy Mäkinen. After a slow start, he secured 2nd place early on and held it with ease throughout. Consistently in the top 2 positions on stage times, Tommy has really enjoyed himself this weekend. Look out, old Mac is back.
The Inmarsat Star of the Rally in Sweden, 2003.
Very proud of it. It's very nice.
Round 3 of the WRC is destined for warmer climates, Turkey. Barring any type of military action in the area, Turkey is scheduled to go ahead as planned. Speed has Rally XS Tuesday, March 4th, then the event itself from start to finish Thursday, March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's brand new and certainly should be interesting. Let the party begin. Marcus Gronholm has won his first rally of 2003 and begins his chase towards retaining his title. Sweden has always been a thrilling rally, and once again it proved to be a classic. Make sure you join us when we make our way to Turkey for round 3 of the 2003 World Rally Championship. From Sweden, for Nikki Grist and Penny Mallory, I'm your host, Ralph Shaheen. So long, everybody.
go.